So we're about to head home from South Carolina. It's about 1,200 miles. But before we leave, I wanted to show off one of the cars here. My friend Kyle's house. He's where we stay. I've known this car for 10 years. You had this 10 years, this one car?
Probably.
10 years. I remember when he bought it in upstate New York. And he's done a good job kind of semi-restoring it and making it a lot better than it was. So I figured we'd go through it.
So this is my 123, which was a 240D. It was an 83 240D. And now it has a 300D engine in it, which is the 5-cylinder turbo diesel, instead of the 4-cylinder naturally aspirated diesel, which was in the 240D. Other than that, it's pretty much completely stock. It has this crummy air filter on it because I got sick of the rattling. The brackets always break here, and then the filter rattles, so I put that on there. It also has a updated AC with a parallel flow condenser and a sand-in compressor, so we have some cool air. So I've been trying to convert the interior to red, which is a pretty rare color for the 123. I've got another seat for the passenger side, which I wanted to fix the pleats on. And I don't have a lot of time, so I was trying to take it to an upholsterer just to run a stitch and fix the pleat, and I can't find anyone to do it, so I might do that myself. Other than that, updated carpets. I've got some Dynamat under there. Original cracked dash from being in the South. The odometer, I don't know if you noticed, it says 250,000. So the odometer and the cluster is paired with the rear differential that's been swapped out for a 288 rear end. So in order to get the right speed on the speedometer, I swapped out that as well. So it really has 350,000 miles on it, whereas this engine has 250,000 miles on it. Full manual climate control, which is desirable because I turn the valve, it pulls the line and it opens things and closes them. All mechanical, nothing to break, no circuit boards to resolder. So I've replaced a lot of rubber parts. The seals are expensive now, so I haven't replaced those. One thing that always goes bad on these is the latch here, and you can buy an aftermarket one for $30, but the quality isn't on par with Mercedes, which these are the Mercedes ones. So when you update your latches and keep everything adjusted properly, your doors close nicely. So if we're looking at the back door, right, this is typically what's happened with all of them if they've not been replaced. The rubber rots out here, becomes kind of hard, and then they don't close as nicely. That back seat I made is my first attempt at upholstery, which isn't too bad for my first attempt at learning to use a sewing machine and stitching a seat together.
I think it looks fantastic. I really like the plaid.
The Euros had a cloth interior that some of them had plaid. So the wheels I got on eBay, they're out of Croatia. I wasn't sure about spending a bunch of money and sending it overseas, but the wheels showed up and they look pretty decent, especially when they're clean. That one's not so clean right now, but I like them. Suspension, it has H&R lowering springs and then stock shocks. There's a 20mm spacer in the rear, no spacer in the front.
So Kyle's big into old Mercedes, if you can't tell. He's got an awesome G Wagen in there. Maybe at some point I'll have him film a bunch and send it to me, because he's done a lot of work to that. It's a super cool rig. He's got this, which is kind of his daily driver. And I don't really know what it is. I think it's like an 87 300 SDL, so long wheelbase. But our favorite part about this car is they tell you if you're going to go more than 100 miles an hour to add 9 psi to the tires, which is pretty cool. The blue car, before the turbo swap, wasn't going to go more than 100 miles an hour, but this one can. This one cruises nice. This is the G Wagen. He does a bunch of off-roading, more than I do, but this comes out on the beach with us when we go to the beach. It's does a lot of fire roads, doing some overlanding, does some mudding. Much more serious than anything I do. It's got a pretty sweet front runner rack on it. And he just put a lower mileage engine in. He's got a couple here. These are a pretty cool V8 overhead cam. As an LS guy, it reminds me a lot of LS's. 6-bolt mains with cross bolt. Really nice machining. Pretty cool engine. I know this was used in a lot of different vehicles, but it makes sense. They run forever.